Well, change-ups on school boards.
And at the Department of Education. Just two topics I discuss with Idaho Education News reporter Kevin Richard and this week's Making the Grade. Making the grade today, Kevin, we have to start with what happened yesterday with the school elections. Give me kind of the broad overview. What do you see that really happened in our communities?
Well, it was a fairly eventful set of school elections because you had a number of incumbents losing in several districts in the Treasure Valley. Two incumbents losing in Nampa, a longtime incumbent losing in the West Ada School District. Also in the West Ada District, you had an open race, but Russ Jokey, who has been a critic of West Ada, he's taken the state and the district to court over student fees. He got elected to a seat on the school board. So school board meetings in West Ada could be quite interesting in the weeks and months ahead. That's on the trustee side. Also a big day for a couple of school districts in terms of levies and bond issues. Horseshoe Bend, Emmett got levies through last night. Notice finally was able to get a bond issue through to replace an elementary school that was opened in 1926.
Yeah, these were desperate issues, and I think voters finally came to the polls saying, okay, we understand, we've got to step up.
Notice had tried that a couple of times, and this time they did get the 2/3 they needed.
There's a lot of movement going on with jobs over at the State House, even though we're out of the legislative session. Tell me about what's happening in the Department of Education. Who's left Sherry Ibarra's office?
And this was a little bit of an abrupt change, a little bit of a surprising change. Will Goodman, a name that probably doesn't ring a bell with too many viewers, but a fairly important player within that department. He was Sherry Ibarra's chief technology officer, and he was involved in the state's job of trying to untangle the Idaho Education Network
The
mess.
whole internet contract debacle that we've been
get
covering.
school districts in a position where they could get broadband into their high schools. He was actually received some fairly good marks from legislators for helping districts get through that. His resignation was announced this morning. He's going back to the Mountain Home School District.
And that's kind of all we know at this point.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, then over at the Department of Administration, which we know is where the IEN issues started with those contracts for broadband. We know that Teresa Luna had stepped down. She now has a new position.
Yes.
And somebody has been replaced by her. Tell me about that.
Yes, the new head of the Department of Administration is Bob Geddes. Now, he is a very familiar name and face around the State House, served almost 20 years in the Senate. He will come in as the new director of the Department of Administration. Still remains to be seen what the state does and what this department winds up doing, whether they have a role in broadband.
Because at this point, the Department of Education has the control of the contracts for broadband
all been moved
for schools.
over to the Department of Education. So next session, we'll see if the Department of Administration tries to get back into this project at all, how that's received. Legislators at least know Geddes fairly well from his time there and his time since then as a lobbyist.
And in case people hadn't heard, Teresa Luna, who ran that department, is now where?
Bureau of Homeland Security. That's a state agency, not the federal agency, and she is the state's emergency planner.
Interesting to watch that career. Real quick before I let you go, I know you're working on a story about Homedale School District. What's happening there?
Well, they're wrapping up their first year as a 4-day school. There are now 42 school districts around the state that operate on a 4-day calendar. We went out there just to see how it went, how it's gone this first year. The district came into this looking to save some money. We'll talk about whether that happened and what else they found along the way. It's an interesting story. We'll have that posted tomorrow.
All right, if you'd like to see that story and of course the most complete election results, just head to idahoednews.org. Thanks, Kevin, for making the grade.
Thank you.